Hello gamers, my name is Luanacy and I have a problem. I cannot stop playing Guild Wars 2. I absolutely love this game and have played it for over 12,000 hours. But Guild Wars 2 can also be a little bit overwhelming when you're new. The game has got a lot of unique features, which might be entirely new to you, even if you've played other MMOs before. What even is a hard quest, a hero point, or a defiance bar? So today, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know as a brand new Guild Wars 2 player. Welcome to the ultimate beginner's guide to Guild Wars 2. Starting with common question number 1. What server should you pick? When you first open the game, you get prompted to pick a server. There are so many options. What if you accidentally pick a dead server? Fear not, my friends. This screen is actually a little bit misleading because Guild Wars 2 has mega servers. In reality, all European servers play together and all American servers also play together. So really the important decision here is Europe versus America. There is actually one part of the game where your server selection is relevant. Worlds versus worlds. In this PvP game mode, your server is also the team you will play on. But even for this game mode, the developers are planning to get rid of the server selection. By the time you are watching this video, the server screen might not even exist anymore. So really, just pick any server on EU or NA and don't worry about it too much. Next, it is time to create a character. What race should you pick? Are certain races better at certain things? The answer is no. All races have the exact same stats and play the exact same, so you can just pick whatever race you personally like the most. Which we all know is obviously the Salvaging. Be careful though, there is no way to change your character's race later on. Your race does also give you a couple of unique racial abilities, but these are intentionally pretty bad and are not relevant for endgame at all. Although, I guess becoming a bear as a Norn is kinda cool. Your race choice also determines your starter zone and your starter story. But right from the get-go, you unlock teleport points in all the different starter zones, so you can just join a friend playing a different race no problem. You don't have to play the same race to play together. Next, it is time to pick one of the 9 classes. Downvoting your video as long as you keep calling them classes. Okay, fine. Technically, they are called professions in this game. There are 3 light armor ones, 3 medium armor ones, and 3 heavy armor ones. And this is also a choice that you cannot change later on. All the professions play quite differently, but something that is really cool about Guild Wars 2 is that all classes can perform any role in the PvE endgame. The buildcraft is really flexible, so all professions can be a healer, for example, or a hybrid support, or a full DPS. If you need some help picking a class, check out my class guide video from a couple months ago. In that video I talk about all 9 classes and I also talk about all the specializations that they can become at max level. But honestly, I recommend not stressing your class choice too much. Guild Wars 2 is really alt friendly, so you can always make alts for the other classes later on. Personally, I just play all the classes. Finally, you will get to make some flavor choices which affect your early story, and then it is time to get into the game. Let's talk about some Guild Wars 2 basics. On the bottom of your screen you will find your skill bar, and it works a little bit different from most other MMOs. The 5 skills on the left side of your skill bar are determined by your current weapon. You unlock more skills here as you level up a bit. The skills on the right side are your dedicated heal skill, 3 utility skills, and finally an elite skill. You can choose these skills freely and you can unlock more skills as you level up. At level 10 you unlock weapon swap, letting you swap to a different weapon easily with the tilde key. You can also do this in the middle of combat, except if you are an elementalist or an engineer. Elementalists can instead swap skills using their attunements, and engineers can swap to kits that they equip. For maximum damage, you want to swap often, so you can keep casting skills instead of waiting for cooldowns. Above your health bar, you will also see these 2 yellow bars. This is your endurance, and each bar represents a single dodge roll. You can dodge by pressing V, and this gives you invincibility frames. This is super helpful for surviving because it lets you dodge powerful attacks. Or at least, it does if you time it correctly. Now that you understand these basics, it is time to go and explore the open worlds. GW2 has a huge focus on its open worlds. There is a lot to do and it's relevant even at the endgame. In the open worlds, you will find waypoints, points of interest, vistas and hero points. These all give you experience, so running around exploring is a pretty solid way to level up. You can choose to fully complete a map for bonus XP, but you can also just move on to another map before you complete it. On the world map, you will also find hard quests. These are pretty similar to your run-of-the-mill quests from other MMOs, but you don't have to accept them or turn them in. Just walk into the area, do the objectives displayed at the top right of your screen to fill the bar, and bam! Instant experience. After completing a hard quest, the NPC of the heart also becomes available as a vendor. If you want to get real good experience though, you want to do dynamic events. Events are things that happen in the open worlds, like an NPC that needs to be escorted, or a town that is under attack. They are displayed on your minimap with an orange circle, and the objectives are once again displayed at the top right of your screen. Doing these events gives awesome XP, and they are not always occurring, so if you see an event, definitely prioritize doing it. Events can also be a part of a larger event chain, so if you follow the NPCs around after an event finishes, you will often find even more events to do. Besides those small scale events, there are also large scale meta events, which can span entire maps. These meta events give awesome rewards, and they usually end with a big epic boss battle. Check the event timer page on the official wiki if you want to know when the coolest events are happening. You can even find some world bosses in these starter maps. GW2's open world maps are also chock full of hidden secrets not marked on your map. Behind some random plant might just be a secret jumping puzzle or mini dungeon. These are super fun, so I highly recommend keeping your eyes peeled. Just don't start with not so secret in Ganaran Fields. That jumping puzzle is notoriously difficult. Something else you can focus on in the early game is your story. You unlock a new chapter every 10 levels, and you can check your story in the Story Journal tab on the Hero panel. You open the Hero panel by pressing H. Doing your story is pretty good XP, but the base game story is very much optional. If you're not having a good time, you can totally just skip straight to an expansion story once you're max level. In my opinion, this game's story gets a lot better later on. Let's talk a little bit more about leveling in GW2. Like I already mentioned, exploration, event and story are all good sources of XP, but besides that there is also the so-called adventure guides. This is a set of achievements that you can find in the achievements tab of your hero panel, and these all give loads of experience. If you want to level fast, keep an eye out on your adventure guide and do these achievements. Another great source of XP is gathering and crafting. I'm not gonna go into too much detail here, but crafting in this game is pretty straightforward. If you are, however, the kind of person who hates crafting in games, you can also totally decide to skip it. Once you're max level, getting maxed out gear is pretty easy, even without crafting. As you level up, you might notice that you don't really start one-shotting low-level mobs. That's because GW2 has level scaling. This is pretty common in video games nowadays, but GW2 was actually one of the first big games to do it. If you go back to lower level content, the game will actually scale down your level and your stats, so that this content stays engaging even if you are high level. When you're downscaled, you do keep all of your skills though, and also all of your traits. As you level up and explore the world, you will get hero points. You can spend these points in the training tab on your hero panel. This is where you can get new skills and also new traits. In the build tab of your hero panel, you can pick 3 trait lines at a time, and then you can pick from the traits in there that you have unlocked. These traits can be super strong, so definitely take a look at them. If you're worried about unlocking the wrong stuff, Don't be. Just getting to max level gets you enough hero points to unlock your entire core class. And once you've unlocked stuff, you can always change your build for free whenever you're out of combat. After you hit level 80 though, you might want to start working on unlocking your elite specializations. These are special trait lines that change your class's gameplay very significantly, and you will need the expansions to be able to start unlocking them. For example, Heart of Thorns lets a Necromancer become a Reaper, Path of Fire lets a Necromancer become a Scourge, and End of Dragons lets a Necromancer become a Harbinger. These specializations cost a lot of hero points to unlock, but hero point challenges in the expansions give you 10 points instead of just 1. This makes it a lot faster. Also, once you're level 80, you can start working on getting Mastery levels. These are levels that you can get beyond level 80, but instead of making you more powerful, they unlock special features, such as gliding. If you want more info on these elite specializations, mastery level, and other stuff you should do at level 80, check out my video on stuff to do after level 80. It is a little bit too much to talk about in this video. While you're leveling, I would not worry too much about your gear. The game is quite easy at low level, so you can kinda just use whatever gear you happen to get your hands on. At higher levels though, it starts to get a bit more important. Do care about what stats are on your gear. Gear with power stats on it is very different from gear with healing power on it or condition damage. You would be surprised at how many players just run random stats. Also, don't sleep on your trinkets. These equips, which you can see here on the right, give you a huge amount of stats. So at max level, you definitely want to care about getting these. For more info on what kind of gear you should pick and how to easily get it, check out my gear guides video. Again though, I would only start worrying about this once you are max level. I love how today's video is letting me plug like all of my other guides. I'm pretty happy with how many guides there are on this channel now. Also, don't forget about gear upgrades. You can slot sigils into your weapons and runes into your armor. Runes actually give you more and more stats the more of the same rune you stack. So for maximum effectiveness, you don't want to mix and match runes. You want to use the same rune in all your armor. As you play Guilders 2, you will get a lot of random items in your inventory. You also start with very little inventory space, so sometimes it can definitely feel like you're playing Inventory Wars 2. To make inventory management a bit easier, you can equip more bags on the left side of your inventory. 10 slot bags are really cheap on the trading post, but if you have some more gold to spend, you can also buy bigger ones. Speaking of that, the trading post is a great way to get items you need, or clean your inventory and make some gold at the same time. You can open it by pressing the lion icon at the top of your screen and then opening the trading post tab. You can also right-click tradable items in your inventory and click Sell on Trading Post to quickly see if your items are worth anything. For both buying and selling items, you can choose to instant sell or instant buy. Or, if you are a bit more patient, you can also place a buy or sell order manually to get a slightly better price. Once you have sold or bought something, pick up your items or gold by visiting a trading post NPC in any of the main cities. As a free-to-play player, you are able to use the trading posts, but you're only allowed to interact with a specific list of items. This restriction gets lifted 5 days after you buy an expansion. Back to inventory management for a bit. You can actually press this little deposit button to instantly deposit any crafting materials that you have in your material storage. This special tab of the bank NPC allows you to store 250 of any crafting material, and you can deposit them at any time from anywhere. It is super handy. Definitely press this button often. For effective inventory management, you can also pick up salvage kits from merchant NPCs. These allow you to break down equipment into crafting materials, which you can then deposit into your material storage. Neat. I'm actually planning to make an inventory management video pretty soon, so if you want to know the full details on how to efficiently and optimally clean your inventory, definitely subscribe for that. Time for some more tips. I think Guilders 2 is super fun, but I think the game is even more fun if you're playing together with nice people. A great way to make friends is by joining a guild. In Guilders 2, you can actually join up to 5 guilds at once, so if you ever see a guild recruiting in chat, you should totally join and see if you like their vibes. By the way, if you need any help with finding a guild or making friends, I even have a guide for that. Wow, I swear, I literally have a guide for anything. Am I convincing you to subscribe yet? The Guilders 2 community is, in my opinion, one of the friendliest gaming communities out there. I have made lots of incredible lifelong friends in this game. If you ever have any questions, you can always type in map chat by typing /m. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Most people in this game are genuinely super down to help new players. Something else that you can do if you need help is use the official Guilders 2 wiki. The wiki is genuinely incredible. It's got loads of info, it's always updated really quickly, and its articles are really high quality. You can even search the wiki easily from in-game by typing /wiki space and then whatever you're searching for. Oh, also, we should totally quickly talk about the Wizard's Vault. This is a brand new system in Guilders 2 which was introduced with the recent Secrets of the Obscure expansion. It's basically Guilders 2's equivalent of a battle pass. But before you let that scare you off, I swear, it's way better than a battle pass. You access the Wizard's Vault by pressing this little magic icon in the top of your screen. You can only access the vault once you have a single level 80 character on your account. And to be able to access all the rewards, you will need to own the latest expansion. But even if you don't have the expansion yet, there are plenty of good rewards to get. Basically, every day there is a set of daily objectives, and every week there is a set of weekly objectives. These all give you astral acclaim, and doing enough objectives allows you to complete the daily or weekly for even more acclaim. You can spend acclaim in the store for really awesome rewards. It is a great way to easily get equipment, gold, and other currencies. If you want to know more about what rewards are the best ones to get, check out my Wizard's Vault tier list video I did a couple months ago. If you are a free-to-play player, I can totally imagine that at this point you might be a bit tired of hearing about all the restrictions. Let's talk a bit about which expansions and what content you might want to consider buying. First of all, I highly recommend leveling to level 80 before buying anything. All expansions are level 80 content anyway, and playing through the base game should give you a pretty good idea of whether Guilders 2 is the right game for you. You can play the game on Steam, or with an account from guilders2.com. There are honestly not many differences between these two account types, but you will need to buy the expansions using the same system you started the game on. If you haven't made an account yet, I do kind of recommend starting at guilders2.com. I give away gem codes on my stream pretty often, and those do not work on the Steam version of the game. Also, if you're on guilders2.com, you can use the affiliate link of your favorite content creator to support them financially at no extra cost to you. Like me, for example. If you want to support my channel, check out my affiliate links in the description of the video. Apart from that though, there's really not many differences between Steam and guilders2.com. There are currently 4 expansions for Guilders 2. Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, End of Dragons, and Secrets of the Obscure. These all get you new maps, new story, new features, and new toys to play with. For example, Heart of Thorns introduced gliding, Path of Fire introduced mounts, End of Dragons introduced skiffs and fishing, and Secrets of the Obscure introduced rift hunting. And that expansion also gets you the sky skill really easily. I personally recommend playing the expansions in order, because then the story makes sense, and you will get the satisfaction of playing each expansion in the way they were originally designed. Also, the first 2 expansions are bundled together in one purchase, so you get 2 expansions for the price of 1. If you really want any of the later expansion features though, or if you want to join friends playing the newest content, you can also just buy the newer expansions without having to play through the old ones first. It's really entirely up to you. Besides expansions, there is also living worlds. These were basically content updates that ArenaNet used to release in between the expansions, and you have to buy these separately. You don't really need to play these immediately, but if you care about story and if you want to play the whole story in order, definitely pick these up too. If you're interested in these, the Elder Dragon Saga Complete Collection is a really good deal. This bundle includes the first 3 expansions and all Living World seasons. If you don't get this one, you will have to buy the Living World seasons separately on the in-game store. Alright, I think we have now gone through most of the really important beginner advice. Before we wrap this video up though, I want to talk about two slightly more advanced topics. These are topics which many players only really start to understand after many hours of gameplay. So if I can teach you about them now, you will have a fantastic head start. First, let's talk about CC, or crowd control. You're probably already familiar with this from other games. Many skills in GW2 2 will crowd control your enemies. You can knock an enemy down, pull them, push them, immobilize them. These CC skills are super useful. But it would be a bit weird if these skills worked on large bosses. Imagine 50 players knocking down a large dragon over and over. That wouldn't really work. So, in GW2 2, large bosses are often defiant. They have this break bar under their health bar, and this means that regular crowd control doesn't work on them. To make sure that your crowd control skills are still useful against these enemies, the break bar can sometimes become blue. This is a break bar that can be broken by reducing it with your crowd control skills. Each CC skill does a certain amount of break bar damage. If the whole bar is drained, a special effect occurs. Usually the boss will get staggered and take extra damage. If you want to know what skills can damage a break bar, look for skills that have the blue Defiance Break text on their tooltip. For example, a skill that does knockdown will have some of this text on it. These skills are known as hard CC skills, and they do instant breakbar damage. There are also conditions you can apply with skills which can damage a breakbar over time, like for example, chill, slow, or immobilize. These are known as soft CC skills, and confusingly, they don't have the Defiance Break text in their tooltip. Congratulations, you now understand how CC works in GW2 2. Finally, I want to talk about one more system that many GW2 2 players are not aware of: combos. Combos in GW2 2 consist of two parts: combo fields and combo finishers. There are lots of different types of fields, like ice fields, fire fields, water fields, and then when someone uses a finisher inside of that field, you do a combo. These combos have special effects depending on the field type and the finisher type, and they can be super useful. You can, for example, blast a water field to do an AoE heal, or you can leap into a smoke field to get stealth. When you do a finisher, this little heart symbol pops up with text that tells you what the effect was. You can read a skill's tooltip to see if a skill puts down a combo field or is a finisher. There are lots of field types and there are 4 different types of finishers: blasts, leaps, projectiles, and whirls. You can look up all the different combos that exist on the official wiki, and I'm not gonna list all of them here, but for now I think it's just good that you are aware that the system exists. And that brings us to the conclusion of this GW2 2 beginner's guide. We talked about a lot of stuff, and I really hope you didn't get overwhelmed. You can always come back to this video later on, and if you have any questions, you can always stop by my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/therandomcy. I stream GW2 2 5 nights a week, and I'm always down to answer questions. If you are a new player, definitely check out the rest of my channel. I make lots of GW2 2 content, including lots of guides on lots of different topics. Alright, that's it. This was The Vanity, and I will see you next time.